Hi, it's your $2 Tuesday movie critic here with another movie. Today I'm going to be reviewing the movie Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Now, I know this has been out for a while, but I have really been wanting to see it because I love Marvel Comics. I've been reading Marvel Comics since I was a kid, and I love the fact that they have been bringing more and more comic book heroes or characters, whatever you want to call them, to life. So Captain America just recently got his own movie, so to speak. I mean, he's been in a couple with other Marvel characters, but back in 2011 when they did the original Captain America, the first Avenger, is when they decided to tell the story of Captain America. But Captain America, the Winter Soldier, was a very good movie, I have to say. I was really looking forward to seeing it, and I wasn't disappointed. It had the action, it had the drama, it had a few humorous scenes. It is great. I mean, even kids could watch it. It was like watching your favorite superhero come to life. Captain America isn't necessarily my favorite superhero, but it was good to see him on screen again. You know, like I said, he was already in a couple of movies. Now, full disclosure, I did not see Captain America, the First Avenger. I wanted to see it, but I never got a chance to see it. But like I told you before, I read the comic books, just about every Marvel comic book character or hero, heroine that you can think of. I've read at least one of their comic books. And then a few, of course, I read the Avengers, the X-Men, all those guys. So, yeah, I was a big fanatic when I was a kid. Just so you know, if you didn't, like myself, get a chance to watch Captain America, the First Avenger, you won't be lost when you watch Captain America, Winter Soldier. It's like they kind of like even give a little brief on some of the things that happened from the original, the First Avenger, Captain America. But I suggest you go back and watch it like I plan to do eventually. So, it's a great movie. Like I said, it has all the action. I like Captain America because most of his action is hand-to-hand. I love the hand-to-hand combat. When you start blowing up stuff and, you know, using all your fancy gadgets, yeah, that's cool too. But the hand-to-hand combat, nothing beats it. So I'm a really big fan of that. I love it in the action movies. I loved it in Captain America. Now in this movie, what's happening is that because he is an agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., so to speak, he does as S.H.I.E.L.D. requests of him. Now in this movie, things start to come into question when Fury, played by Sam Jackson, starts acting kind of funky, and, you know, Captain America begins to question what's going on. And of course, Captain America, aka Chris Evans, who plays him, and of course we know Captain America's alter ego is Steve Rogers. So either way, he starts to question Fury and his actions and what's going on. And of course, Nick Fury, played by Sam Jackson, is being kind of cagey and not telling him anything, letting him know, you'll know on a need-to-know basis. Right now, you don't need to know. And that's just like the worst thing you tell anybody, because then they want to know more. And Captain America, as we all know from reading the comic books, is the guy that stands for justice. And he always wants to do the right thing. And he always wants to protect the American people no matter what. And this doesn't change in the movie. So it becomes a question of, with Captain America in this movie, what is the right thing? And when I do the right thing, is it going to go against the organization that I have vowed to work for, which is S.H.I.E.L.D., and at the same time, is what I'm doing, is it the right thing? So all these questions come into play throughout the movie. And Captain America begins to not only question S.H.I.E.L.D., Nick Fury, his boss, but also begins to question himself and if he's going down the right path. that he needs to go down. And if all of this, in the end, is going to protect the American people, which is always his ultimate goal. So that's how the movie goes. The Winter Soldier comes into play because he happens to be Captain America's main adversary during the movie. Captain America is aided by Black Widow, also known as Scarlett Johansson. And then there's Falcon, also known as Sam Wilson, who is played by Anthony Mackie. And these guys are pretty much with him throughout the whole movie. Because as you know, with these movies, there's not really an end. It just goes to the part and then they give you a little tease about what's coming up next. And you don't know which Avenger is going to be part of that. Like it is so far been in just about every Avenger or Marvel Comics movie. I really enjoyed it. It was a great cast. There was a lot of chemistry going on there. The action, I'd say, was really great. The Winter Soldier coming into this was totally believable. And it happens to be someone from Captain America's past, which, again, adds to Captain America's conflict. So, it's a really great movie. I really suggest you go see it. The kids will love it, you know, especially all the action that's going on. There were maybe 1 or 2 curse words. I really don't remember them offhand, so it couldn't have been too many. There's no nudity. There is violence, of course, but it's the same violence that your kids who read these comic books are going to see. It just happened to see it in the movie. So it's really good, and I suggest it for anybody, especially your kids that read the books. They'll love it. And if you like, you know, the other Marvel comic movies that have come out so far, you like this. And just like in all the others, look for Stan Lee. It's like almost like, where's Stanley? Where's Waldo? Sort of type thing. And of course, he makes a cameo in this one, just like in all the others. And I love, that's like one of my favorite games to play in that. Finding out when is Stan Lee going to make his cameo appearance. And he does that in this movie just like all the others. I think it would be kind of crappy if he didn't make a cameo appearance in one of the movies. So, the movies that I'm going to compare to Captain America Winter Soldier is 2 old school movies. One of them is LA Confidential. Now, this movie, here, LA Confidential. This movie came out back in 1997, and it stars Kevin Spacey as Jack Russell Crowe, who plays Wendell Bud White, and Guy Pearce, who plays Edmund J. Exley. And of course, Kim Basinger, who plays Bud's main squeeze. So, the 3 guys in this are all cops. And the way that I compare it to Captain America is the character of Crowe, who plays Wendell Bud White. Now, Crowe, in this movie, LA Confidential, he's out for justice. The thing about his justice is that he's willing to do it by any means necessary, to get justice by any means necessary, which is not necessarily Captain America's way, but they are both out for that same thing. They want justice. Bud is one of those people, he is always willing to protect those that can't protect themselves, just like Captain America. The thing with Bud is that he does so in a way that not necessarily what Captain America would do, because Bud is more of a fisticuff type guy. Not that Captain America isn't, but as you see in Captain America, he's very straight-laced, not in a goody two-shoes way like Guy Pearce's character in LA Confidential, because Guy Pearce, yeah, he's a straight-laced guy, but he's out for himself the whole time. Crowe's character, Bud, is not out for himself. He's actually just trying to do his job. He wanted to be a cop. He believes his job as a cop is to protect and serve, and that's what he tries to do. The only bad part about it is somehow he sees that the system that he's trying so hard to uphold isn't working the way that he feels it should. So he goes outside of the system. Now, in Captain America also sees that SHIELD, the organization that he has been working for, somehow seems to be going in a different direction that is not necessarily protecting our American people. So he feels like he needs to go outside of SHIELD, but he fights against that because he feels like going outside of SHIELD is also doing the wrong thing. So he has a conflict within himself. With the character of Crow, he also has a conflict within himself, but not initially. Initially, when his superiors come to him and say, hey, we know what you want to do. We know you love being a cop. We're going to show you another way to get justice. And even though we all know by watching the movie LA Confidential, the way that this group of guys ends up getting justice is not good. They pretty much end up, you could say, torture. Yeah, use that word, because that's pretty much what it is, except Crow's character Bud doesn't see it that way. He sees it as, you know, this person is a bad person, and I'm going to make sure that not only they pay and not get away with what they've done, but those that hired them and those that are around, I'm going to make sure they get justice too. And he goes about it in the wrong way. And once he realizes that, which he does in LA Confidential, then a conflict comes within him where he sees that, hey, I thought I'd been doing the right thing all along. Now I'm beginning to question what I was doing. Was it really right? Was I really getting justice? Because a lot of the stuff that he's doing comes from anger and comes from his past and things that have happened in his past that caused him to go in this way. And of course, seeing that the system doesn't work the way he would like it to work. And people are getting off because they use the system to their advantage. And Bud doesn't like that. And that's why he turns the way he does. So Captain America's conflict, when he decides to go the way he goes, is about him still trying to protect the American people and him still trying to stay on the side of right, even though he goes against the organization that he agreed to follow, but realizes, hey, I thought I was doing the right thing, but maybe I'm not doing the right thing, and maybe I need to look at what I'm doing. And he realizes that the people that I thought were good guys, or were guys that were looking for justice like I was, maybe are not so much. And the guys that I was looking at that were, you know, out for themselves, maybe these guys are the guys I need to be with, or I need to get on my side. So that's how I compare that. And I think it's a pretty good comparison. I like the idea of that character where he's not just good or bad. He's a three-dimensional character that has flaws. He knows he has flaws, but he also knows that what he wants is to protect and serve. And he never really veers away from that. Even though, or he never veers away from that thought, I should say. He does veer away from that path. So that's where I get my LA Confidential connection to Captain America Winter Soldier. Now, the next movie, old school movie, that I have is Dances with Wolves. Now, everybody knows this movie stars Kevin Costner, and this movie came out in 1990. It's a great movie. It's like one of the best movies about the Western time, about Native Americans, about, you know, just that time period that I have ever seen. One of the best. The correlation that I come up with here is just like Captain America, Kevin Costner's character, who is Lieutenant John Dunbar, he is a soldier. And he goes to post that he's assigned to basically keep an eye on the Native Americans in that area. And that's what he does. Now, as he's there, he ends up somehow communicating, learning to communicate with those people. He ends up caring for them. He ends up wanting to protect them. And in that, he knows what's coming for them. He knows eventually that the government that he is a part of will one day come out and try and wipe away that nation. And a conflict comes when he has to decide, am I going to help to protect these people that I have grown to think of as family? Or do I stay and loyal to this government that I agreed to be a part of? And it's a huge conflict for him, as you see in the movie. It's a great movie, you know. And you have to wonder, even though this Lieutenant John Dunbar was a fictional character, of course we all know the story is true of the Native American people being wiped out by American soldiers, by the American government. In this instance, the conflict comes the same way the conflict comes with Captain America, where he has to choose between S.H.I.E.L.D., which he feels is not doing what they claim to be about. They've changed their agenda. They're no longer protecting and serving the people of America, just like with Lieutenant John Dunbar, who feels like the government is no longer a part of protecting and serving the United States anymore, or even part of something great anymore. They were part of the genocide of the Native American people. And if Dunbar becomes a part of that as well, he not only betrays the people, the Native American people that he has grown to love, but he also betrays his heart and those values that he holds true, which is also justice, and to protect those that can't necessarily protect themselves. So that's the conflict that comes into play. It's an excellent movie. Both movies are excellent. I suggest that you watch them if you haven't. You know, I have my movies, as you can see, from when they pretty much came out, and they're both on VHS. But they have you know, you can get them on Amazon.com or pretty much anywhere where they sell movies. You know, these are both very popular movies. So you can still, and you could, I'm sure they have them on DVD by now. So those are my two movies. I hope you like the correlations that I made between the two old school movies and Captain America, Winter Soldier. If you have some correlations that you think are better than my movies, please let me know. My final synopsis: go see the movie. Go see Captain America Winter Soldier. If you haven't seen Dances with Wolves or LA Confidential, I suggest you rent them or buy them, because they are also excellent movies. You won't be disappointed. Alright, thank you, and I'll see you next time.